Morning show, I told you that eternal vigilance is key, especially when you're dealing with this group of Nigerian politicians. Just as I predicted rightly, because I think 10 steps ahead of a lot of them, I knew what they were going to do. I knew that they were going to pass the law in such a way that they were going to leave a lacuna. And like I said, even if they finally pass the law, even get more scared for the president to assent. And even after that, get more scared because they might have embedded something in it. And they didn't go too far. They passed a law where they left a lacuna. The lacuna is, number one, in a case where you can't have electronic transmission of results, then you use Form EC8A. That's a big lacuna. The question is, it's still like what happened in Section 60 before, because this is still left at the discretion of the electoral officer. Some questions I know that they will never answer. Who determines when there is no network to be able to transmit results? And who make the decisions that they should fall back to EC8A? The electoral officer. Probably the electoral officer might have been compromised. Secondly, is the IREV results, is it now justiciable? What does justiciable mean? Can you present it as evidence in court? Because the Supreme Court ruling in the last election stated it exclusively that you can use it for corroborative evidence. That's the result of the IREV. But it's not justiciable. And that's why when the political parties quickly rushed to go and get what was on the IREV from INEC and summoned and put it in courts, the courts just overlooked all of them and said, you don't have a case here because what we're going to do is the Form EC8A. And they know that the burden of proof is very difficult because there is no political party in Nigeria. And please don't let them deceive you by saying APC, they have polling agents everywhere. That's when they say lie. Even with the APC cannot boast of even having 40,000 from EC8A of different polling units across the country under election conditions. No political party can do that. How are you going to be able to pay for the logistics to have agents in 176,000 polling units? That's having 176,000 people that you pay on ground, or you have people around there. How can you trust them? How can they get this information back to the central body of the political party? And that's why the burden of proof, especially in the presidential election, is very difficult. It's a very difficult burden. Elections that have been easily overturned are elections that has a shorter area spread. So take, for instance, the senatorial election. Because, when you say a couple of polling units, even a couple of the polling units and the key areas where you think you feel rigged out, if you get your EC8A forms and you can go and prove your case in court. But in the presidential election, that is a large spread across 176,000 polling units, it's always very difficult. So what they have just done is they've just put in a lacuna that's going to make it easy for them to manipulate. And the truth is they know what they are doing. That's why I say these politicians are smarter than you. The media, they've been able to tell the media to frame it as INEC finally passed electronic transmission. There's no victory anywhere. In fact, this is the beginning of the struggle. And the truth has to be said. The politicians and those that don't want transparent elections in this country, as long as they've put in the lacuna that if you cannot transmit, then you go back to EC8A forms. Forget it. So it's for you to shine your eye and keep working. The next port of call is people that are getting their voices heard. Don't stop getting your voices heard. Let's see what the harmonization will be able to say. When the harmonization committee meet, I think they've extended the members to about 12. And let's keep making our voices heard, because all we just want is we want transparency in the process. Because these same guys in the APC today that are running helter-skelter and all of that, I've read out a newspaper article in 2012, as a 2013, when Lai Mohammed was saying they wanted electronic voting process. That's just it. Because they knew that that was what they were going to be able to use to triumph over the likes of the PDP. But once they didn't get that, yes, they had a card reader accreditation in 2015. But once all political parties could rig, and for what is what, political parties have rigged each other in 2015. The rigging was massive. Have you forgotten the Rivers election result by the PDP? And have you forgot the results out of Kano? So both parties have rigged each other. APC and PDP, both parties rigged each other massively. It's just who rigged more. So, and I'm sure as subsequent election happen, we're beginning to see that both parties rigged. So when it favors them, and you see all of these politicians that you're breaking your head over, don't lose sweat over them. All of them is just what they can do before they get into power, because all of them, see, they need state resources. And what do they need the state resources to do? They need state resources to keep themselves and perpetuate themselves in powers. They will pay lawyers that would advise them on how to keep themselves in power and to bend the law to favor them. They'll pay consultants that will think for them, and they'll pay people that execute for them. In the end, as long as they're in charge of the state resource, it all comes to them. So like I predicted rightly today on the show, what I said was going to happen was going to happen. They were still going to look for a way to find a lacuna and put a special interest lacuna. So let's see our pounds out. Guys, don't lose guard.